What would you do if a stranger, not just any stranger, but a millionaire, offered you $10,000 to marry him for only 30 days? Would you laugh? Would you run away? Or would you say yes? But here's the twist, she agreed, on one condition. And that condition changed his entire life forever. Stay with me until the end, because this is not just a story about money or marriage, it's about a love that was never supposed to happen. Sophie was 25, working double shifts at a small cafe in the heart of the city. Her mother was sick, the bills were piling up, and her dreams of finishing her education had slipped further away with each unpaid notice. Life, for her, was survival. Then came him. Adrian Blackwell, the man whose name was printed in magazines and whispered in boardrooms. A self-made millionaire, handsome but cold, his life looked perfect from the outside. But what the public didn't know was that Adrian was under pressure from his late father's will. Unless he was married, even temporarily, he would lose control of the family empire to greedy relatives. One rainy evening, Adrian walked into Sophie's cafe, not for coffee, but for a deal. He slid a card across the counter, his eyes serious. "Marry me for 30 days. I'll pay you $10,000. Sophie thought it was a cruel joke. Her life was already hard enough, why would she add humiliation? But Adrian was deadly serious. He explained everything. The inheritance, the time frame, the publicity. At first, Sophie wanted to refuse. But then she remembered her mother's medical bills and her younger brother's tuition. $10,000 wasn't just money, it was hope. She finally agreed, but raised her finger with quiet determination. "Fine. I'll marry you for 30 days. But on one condition, you treat me with respect. I'm not your property. This is my dignity at stake too." Adrian was taken aback. No one, not even seasoned business sharks, had ever set terms with him. But something in her fire made him nod. The wedding was small, staged for the cameras, and coldly transactional. Adrian wore a mask of indifference. Sophie wore a borrowed gown. Yet behind the flash of paparazzi cameras, both felt an ache neither could admit. That night, Sophie whispered to herself in bed, "This is just 30 days. Just 30 days, then I'm free." But she didn't know, 30 days was all it would take to change everything. The first week was unbearable. Adrian treated Sophie like an employee, outlining schedules, appearances, and staged romantic dinners that felt like theater. Sophie played along, but behind closed doors, she challenged him. When Adrian dismissed waiters rudely, Sophie called him out. When he tried to control every detail, she reminded him of her condition, respect. And slowly, something cracked in him. One night, after a charity gala, Sophie found Adrian standing alone on a balcony, staring at the city lights. He confessed, not to the cameras, but to her. "Do you know why I avoid people? Because in this world, everyone wants something from me. No one has ever asked me how I feel, until you." For the first time, Sophie saw not the millionaire, but the man, lonely, burdened, trapped in gold cages of his own success. Days turned into nights of quiet conversations. Weeks turned into laughter over burnt pancakes in the kitchen. Sophie's warmth slowly melted Adrian's icy armor. But trouble wasn't far. Adrian's relatives dug into Sophie's past, branding her a gold digger. Headlines screamed, "Millionaire marries waitress for money." Sophie was crushed. She wanted to walk away, her dignity torn apart. But Adrian, the man who once hired her like a business deal, stopped her. In front of reporters, investors, and his scheming relatives, Adrian took Sophie's hand and said, "You were right. Respect matters. And today, I respect you enough to say this in front of the world, I didn't save you. You saved me." The contract was over. The 30 days had ended. But neither of them wanted it to stop. As Sophie turned to leave, Adrian whispered the words that made her freeze. "Forget $10,000. Stay, and I'll give you forever." And for the first time, Sophie smiled, not as a stand-in bride, but as a woman truly loved. This wasn't about money. This wasn't about a deal. It was about dignity, respect, and the unexpected places love can be found. Sometimes, the richest man in the room is the one who finally learns how to give his heart.